It's been a while, but in this video, we're gonna install a dash cam in the Jeep Grand Cherokee. Stay tuned. So there are many reasons why you may want to install a dash cam. For me, it's because I drive a lot. My job has me on the road. Over the last year or so, that's obviously declined and I haven't been traveling as much. But now that it's 2021, I see that my traveling is going to start picking up again. So I figured it was probably time to go ahead and install the dash cam in this car. All my previous videos were done on my Jeep Grand Cherokee 2013 Limited. In October 2019, I bought this new 2019 Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited X. I haven't done any modifications to it yet. This will be the first one. No, it's not really a modification as more as it is an addition. Now, in the 2013, I did have this dash cam installed, but I didn't bury the wire. In this video, we're actually going to bury the wire so that you don't see it. And I'll go over the options for the camera that I chose, but this is by no means a product endorsement. Pick whatever camera you want if you want to install one. This is just the one that I picked, maybe some reasonings around why I picked it, and then the installation of that camera. All right, let's get to it. Okay, so this is my setup. I've got this Rexing 4K dash cam with Wi-Fi. I chose this one primarily because I can wire it in and it's low profile, so it doesn't stick down on the windshield. They have a picture of it on the back there. So it'll look like that. So it's a nice low profile camera. You can kind of tuck it away. You'll see when I go through the install here. You can kind of tuck it away so it's out of your driver's view. It also does have a Wi-Fi app, so I'll be able to connect to it and make some adjustments or such as I need. It also does have like a motion on, so like if the car gets bumped or whatever when it's parked, it does have a battery inside, so it'll kick on, record for a few seconds, and then turn off. I got this high endurance SD card. I think this camera will go up to 128 or maybe 256 gig. I only got 64 gig. It's just going to loop over itself, but it might be important to get the high endurance card because it will be in the car and it's up on the windscreen, so it's going to get a lot of sun, right? So this will help the endurance of the memory card. I've also got some wire splicers because I'm going to splice it into the lighter plug right here. I don't really use this one at all. I do use the one here in the front, but in the Limited, you can see there's USB for my charging. There is that lighter jack right there, which I usually use for like a radar detector. But this one here, I seldom use. I don't even know if I ever used it. So I'm going to wire it into that one. And then, of course, you need a pair of pliers to close down on the splicers. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to find a nice location for it. And I'm probably thinking right along this side, so I have my speed pass over here, right along on this side. And then we'll take the wire and tuck it up along this edge, down here, inside, around, down along this trim molding, and then splice it in to the jack right here. So that's the vision. I did remember just now that I have to get some zip ties and maybe some black duct tape, but I'm gonna get some zip ties because when I go to start tying it in, I can fasten it so that the cable doesn't slip out of the molding. Okay, let me go grab some zip ties and we'll get started. Zip ties. Okay, seated in the driver's side here. This is the camera, and let me just see if I can show you what it looks like. Here's a nice little wedge shape, and the memory card will go right there. There's an on-off button. You can it's also got an internal mic that you can turn on and off, and there is a little adapter that this pops into, which sticks to your windscreen, and then this just locks into place. That way you can always take this out of your car if you want. So essentially when you go to install it, this is a little bit bigger than my last one, but you can see I can plug it right there. I gotta check to make sure it's not blocking anything on the back of this mirror, but essentially I should be able to plug it in like right there. So then when you're driving, this would be your view right there. I mean, that's a little, no. Yeah, so let me take a look at the back of the mirror, see if there's any sensors or anything on there that I don't block, but that looks like the best place. Now, it does have a little screen right here, so this will come on, but it's time limited, so the screen can come on, it kind of lets you know that it's recording, and then the screen will go black. That's how I'll set it up anyway. And you can adjust the angle of the camera right there, that little screw right there. Anyway, so that's it. I think I'm going to mount it right there as long as it's not in the way of anything. So let me take a look at that. Okay, there's no sensor on the back of this side. On the driver's side, there is a sensor on the back of the passenger side. So this is the opportune place to put that. So I'm going to clean the glass off right here. My car is pretty dirty. I just came back from a trip, but I'm going to clean the glass off right here so we can put the sticker on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and mount the camera first, and here's that little lock plate, right? So it just slips inside there and then holds the camera in place. But when it locks in, notice it locks backwards like that. Then to take it off, it goes forward. So I'm going to have it in the forward position and then find a good location, again, like right up here, because that would be the position that it gets removed. Because when it's locked in, it's going to slip forward just a smidge. So I want to make sure that I'm going to be able to pull it off without having to pry anything loose. So something like right there, we'll get that mounted right there. Just ignore the cluttered garage, but you can see that the driver has a clear view of sight, and that tucks up nice behind the mirror, doesn't interfere with anything. And I think that's a good position for it. Okay, we're just gonna pull this molding off. It goes along the door. You've seen me do this before on the 2013. Just grab a hold of it and it should pull straight down. This one's much tighter. Here we go. All right, pull that down. And that'll expose this channel. That's where we're gonna, this channel is where we're gonna run the wire. Okay, let's just pull this molding out. There we go. And down to about there is good. Because then I'll pop this off and we'll run the wire right inside there. Okay, the side molding here needs a little persuasion. Notice where the locks are. Put a little pressure there. If the little tabs pop off, just go fishing. I pulled this out because I had one of the tabs come off, and this just pulls straight out like that. Well, I might have to pull it out again just to run the cable, but let's see if I can. Yeah, I can probably do that. Pull that out, and then run the cable up underneath there. I don't want to take all this molding off, but I don't have to. I should be able to tuck it, bring it down and tuck it in right there. Okay, so I put one of the little cable ties right there, and then we're running it along here, and you can pull this out like that, and it only goes down to about this far. So once you do, you can push the wire down under the molding along this edge right here, and that gives you plenty of space right here. Now I'm just leaving this kind of loose. I will push it up in there and maybe use a couple of those little those little wire holders to hold it all in place. I'm not really concerned about this little bit of slack. I can tighten it up later, but anyway, you want to make sure you get it in there, down around that little molding area over the side, and then you can run it down from here. Okay, on the outside, I'm going to run it down right inside here, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and cut this end off right here, and then I can take it and zip tie it here, and then run it down inside this, down here, and then along the underneath side over to there. Okay, so it's zip tied in right there, and I tucked it in behind, and there's this little channel right here, you see that? So it's just gonna go behind this molding here in that channel, and that channel runs all along the bottom over into the center column. To get the side molding back in place, you want to slip it right inside there like that, and then these ends should kind of line up. It is a two-hand job, so I have to put the phone down, and then they'll just pop right into place. And now that the molding's all put back in, we'll put our weather trim back. Like it never even happened. Okay, let's get this cable run over. Okay, so I ran it along the channel here, and then I pulled this molding out. You can just stick your hand up there underneath this way, all the way up. You can see where the locks are. Just kind of pull them loose. So I tucked the cable up into here, and then down around this carpet, you'll see kind of this firm area of carpet there. So it's coming along there behind this lock. and right here for right now. And then we need to take this off, and really you should just be able to pull up on this piece. I'm gonna just double check there. I don't want to break anything. All right, plug that. Okay, I'm just let me use two hands on this. I should just be able to pull up on this just to unlock it, and that'll take this, unlock this plastic piece right here and this, and then I can expose the outlet right there that we're going to be connecting to. All right, two hands, be right back. Yep, there we go. So you can see it's right there. So just grab a hold of the side here and the side here. This is a piece of metal right there, so that's not going to lift up. So just gently kind of coax it on both sides there, and I should loosen it up for you. And then that'll open up this chamber. And if I can get the rest of it, there we go. Come on, there we go. Then that should expose, I gotta find it. That should expose our accessory adapter, which feels like it's on this side. Get down there. There it is. Right there. So here's the accessory adapter. And we will use our splices to plug our camera into that. If by chance you don't want to cut the end off, you can, take that cable, run it down on the inside here, and you'll see this little recess right here, this little cut edge, and your cable will fit right through there comfortably, and then you can leave the end on and just plug it right in there, and then that way it stays connected underneath or hidden underneath all of this. Comes up underneath this edge up in here, and then without cutting the end off, just leave it connected. So I've got it draped here so you can see how it's going to look, and you can tuck it right in there, and then right in here, and then just plug it right in, and that way you don't have to, like I said, lob the end off. You just leave it all together. That might work best for some, and if you don't want to make any modifications or do any splicing. Okay, so this is better on the driver's side. You can unplug this from that socket. There's like a little tab right here in the middle. So you got to kind of wedge your finger in there and press that down, and that'll unlock it and pull that right out. And you got a little bit of room. Pull this out. Now you can work with that. Peel back some of the foam here. I just started to do that. And then splice in your camera into the red and black. And they're marked on the line, so that'll make it easy. And then I can just tuck all the wire away, and we should be ready to go. Okay, the installation's been done, but I'm going to tell you right now it didn't work. What I needed was a 12 volt to 5 volt converter. I'm going to attach it as a link in the description below, just so you can see which one you would need, along with the links to everything else. I'm not getting any credit for it, so just check them out if you're interested. But anyway, the camera that I chose needed to have a 5 volt power source. Putting a 12 volt power source in, it wouldn't even power up the camera. So the 5 volt converter that I use, it actually has a 3-foot lead. So you want to install it in here first. So behind this panel or down in the dashboard. So I stuffed it in here, and then it has a 3-foot section that you'll then fish up along to the camera, and then a 6-foot section that then can go across the glove box and then down the center column and then wire it in there. That's the easiest way to do it. So anyway, we'll continue with the video, but just remember that you'll need the camera, 5 volt converter, and then everything else should fit just fine and work just as well for you. All right, let's get on with it. Okay, we got a little bit more of our wire exposed there. Now we'll just start tucking this wire in underneath here. That all tucked in. Might have to zip tie it a couple places to make it fit better, and then we'll splice that in into our outlet. Okay, running the cable through. I did put a zip tie right here on that wire, and then underneath there's a foam covered wire for put a zip tie on there. I don't care about the little end sticking out. Probably break that right off. Anyway, so that's in there. All right, so now we're ready to splice the wire in. All right, these are a little bit bigger splicers than what I needed, but they'll work. What I'm going to do, well, if you haven't used a splicer, you pull up this little metal thing to make sure that it's all the way up before you get started. And then when it comes, you'll see that this little back flap here is closed. You want to open that up, and you put your wire, like this wire, in that side, in this side, and lock it into place. And then you take your new wire, and you'll see that your old wire will run through here. Your new wire will go in this hole. There's only one hole. And then you close the top like that. And when you plier clamp it down, this little metal tab joins this wire to that wire, which gives you a splice. This is what it looks like with the splicers in there. You can see that the wire just runs through. It hasn't been clamped down yet, so they do move. Okay, so I angled the black one on itself. You can see that it's installed there now. And then I'll just push this clamp down and with a pair of pliers, lock it in place. There we go. And don't go crazy, but you can give it a little tug and you'll know that it's connected. All right, so let's do the red. I did have a fair bit of extra wire, so I went ahead and added a zip tie, bundled it up and added a zip tie to it to hold it down. Last thing you want is a bunch of excess wire in here rattling around. Okay, so that's now pushed back in place. And those are not going to interfere with anything. Yep, fine. Okay, so we just need to put our molding back together. So this top one, I'm actually going to get this bottom piece in first. Like that. And then the top piece, start from the front and just work your way to the back. There you go. Now you have a very well hidden wire. It comes all along here, spliced in there. Comes all along here, under this, up along the door jamb, up here, over to your camera. Okay, there we go. And one nice thing is there's like a little edge on this foam. So if you pull it down, don't go nuts, but you pull it down, you'll feel that little edge, and just stuff the wire behind that edge, and that'll hold it in place like that. And we have no trace of the wire anywhere. And there's our camera. So let me get it plugged in, as far as get the memory stick in there, and we'll take it on a little road test. So you can see, like, from the driver's view, where the location of the camera is not really very distracting. I can clearly see out of the front area of my view without anything covering it. You'll also notice that I have the screen off, so when it comes on, it lights up for a few seconds, then it automatically turns itself off. I like it that way.